What's going on, 5-9 Gaming crew? Letha went up here, and guys, welcome back to the 5-9 Gaming weekly wrap, this series where we go ahead and we talk about the video game news that just happened this past week, and also we talk about some games that also dropped this past week and some to look forward to next week. Let's go ahead now and let's jump into that games that are releasing this past week. And again, I get my listing from Game Informer, so if you want that full expansive listing, go check out GameInformer.com. Speaking of which, the first one is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which I had to say, this is a game where I know not just me, but others have also been a little skeptical, knowing the team behind this also helped make the Avengers game. And so I think a lot of people were scared, even again, myself included, how well will this game perform? I gotta say, from my friends and just from the overall community, everybody's been generally really positive for this game. Loving the characters and more importantly, loving the story, as this was more focused for more of a narrative driven experience. So I gotta say, definitely keep your eyes out on that game. I'm hoping in Black Friday, maybe, or even Cyber Monday, maybe we'll get some cool deals for this game. I do want to get it, but not right now. But I have to say, if you're thinking about it, you're a fan of Marvel, right? And you're just a fan of maybe Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely check out this game because tons of great feedback on this game. And again, it released on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I do think if it's Switch, it is the cloud version, but from what I've played, even myself, the demo on Switch didn't play that bad. Again, depending on your internet connection. But that was October 26th. We had NASCAR 21 Ignition. That was PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. That was October 26th. Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water, multiple platforms, October 28th. We also had Riders Republic. That was again multiple platforms, October 28th. Voice of Cards, The Isle, Dragon Roars. That was PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. That was October 28th. And then the pretty big one I would say this week was Mario Party Superstars. Of course, that's on Switch. And that was October 29th, which everybody's loving that game right now. Don't forget to go check out our Twitch VODs. And eventually, I think our Uncut channel will have it. We did do a really cool stream, a subathon. So go check that out if you haven't already. Now, speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and jump into the first story. Keeping it Nintendo, Switch Online Data Mine shows plans for more N64 games and Sega Genesis games. We're getting this from Liam Doolin at Nintendo Life. According to data miner Mondo Mega, there are at least 38 N64 games and 52 Sega Genesis Mega Drive games planned for the paid subscription service. Now, we already know, aside from the launch games for the N64 and Sega Genesis, there's a couple already planned for release that they kind of already not necessarily dropped it, but had it in a bunch of like a little slideshow kind of thing. Majora's Mask, right? Banjo-Kazooie, Paper Mario was one, Pokemon Snap was one, a Kirby game. We already know there's a couple games coming, and I would say at the very least, maybe another 8 more games. So 38 is a substantial lot more, and I'm focusing on N64 because I guess, Sega Genesis, that's a lot of games. I'm not even gonna lie. 52 Sega Genesis games, that's actually a pretty good bunch of games. I think I just tend to focus more and get more excited for N64 because those are the games that I think I grew up more with. And so I'm just more inclined to be more excited for those. But of course, 52 Sega Genesis games on top of the 38, that's a lot. And I think the question right then becomes, does that help you feel like the $50 price increase or this the new $50 price tag? Does that make you feel better getting the subscription service? I don't know. We'll get more into that. The article also mentions that the same data miner also notes how more platforms beyond these two are likely to show up in the future. Some of the previously rumored for the service included Game Boy and Game Boy Color. Now, if we get Game Boy, Game Boy Color, right, the next question is, will this get added to the expansion pack or will this just go to the base, to the base plan? And I would say it would make more sense for these to hop into that expansion pack because at this point, let's be real, the overall, I think, public reception on the expansion pack is absolutely negative. In fact, the video that they put on their YouTube channel is, I think I just read not that long ago, it is the most disliked video on their YouTube channel. The crazy part is, does Nintendo care? Probably not. But I think they are going to do whatever they can at this point because let's be real, they have to do something. Not saying it's going to be the biggest thing, but most likely, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Game Boy and Game Boy Color on that expansion pack to justify that price because they need to do whatever they can to try to do some type of, I don't want to say justification or some type of a public thing. They just need to do something to, because people, here's the problem. Money speaks. And if they see that people aren't subscribing to it, then they definitely have to entice the fact that, like, okay, we got to make sure people are subscribing to this, right? We're really trying to push it towards this new direction. So I feel like, yes, we will see that there. Will that bring in more people? I don't know. But the question I'm trying to pose out there is, all of this, is it enough, right? 38 and 64 games, 52 Sega Genesis games. Is that enough to justify that price for you? But let's also keep in mind other stuff too, because believe it or not, I did get the service, right? I did want to try out that pro discounted rate. I said, let me give it a year. Let me shoot my shot and see how well it is. I can tell right off the jump, it is not even close to being worth it right now at this time. Maybe in a year, when these 38 and 64 games come, maybe it will be worth it. And who knows, maybe the Animal Crossing DLC is just the first of many. Maybe we will see more DLC being added in. I don't know. We really don't know what else they're gonna add to this expansion pack. But like I said, if they're saying they're not making any money from it, that's what talks more than anything. They can get dislikes all they want, but if they see that, like, hey, we need to reach a certain quota or something, and the subscriptions just aren't there, they need to add to that and do whatever they can to that to make it definitely worth it. The point that I wanted to make was, I tried the N64. More importantly, I tried it online with friends, because I think that's where the big thing is with it, right? You want to play those N64 games with friends or whatever. And I think like maybe 2 games worked not that bad, whereas Mario Kart, terrible delay. There was definitely some, I even had some audio lag. What else was it? I've been seeing people talk about Ocarina of Time. There's even there's some input delay with that as well. And so overall, they have to fix the service itself. It's honestly, it's that bad too. So I don't know. It's hard to even still be like, yeah, add more games in, where it's like, dude, Nintendo, why don't you fix what you got going on first? Because clearly that's not even at par. So I don't know, give me your thoughts about this overall down below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about it, because it is an interesting one, because I know everybody was excited for this N64 launch of the games and everything. It just sucks, because typical Nintendo fashion, it's just not releasing how you'd want it to be releasing, especially with the price that it's also under. Jumping into a different platform here, Sony has formed the PlayStation PC label. This is coming from Andy Robinson over at VGC. Now, this is a pretty hefty article, but there's so much that I wanted to read from the actual article. So bear with me here, because it's a cool talk, right? And it's a cool discussion piece. So again, straight from the article, it reads, according to a corporation wiki listing, Sony Interactive Entertainment registered the PlayStation PC name in April this year via its California-based headquarters. Now, although the name appears to be a formality, it represents another strong signal that Sony intends to increase its gaming output on the PC platform. Keep in mind, Sony's first modern PC ports were Horizon Zero Dawn and then Days Gone. Additionally, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End and the Uncharted Lost Legacy will also make jump to the PC in 2022. Also, God of War was announced as an upcoming PC port this month. Now, there's also rumors that Sackboy: A Big Adventure and Ghost of Tsushima may be coming to PC soon as well. Now, in an interview with Jim Ryan, it was asked why Sony is now embracing PC more. Ryan basically said, I think a few things changed. We find ourselves now in early 2021 with our development studios and the games that they make in better shape than they've ever been in before. Particularly from the latter half of the PS4 cycle, our studios made some wonderful, great games. There's an opportunity to expose those great games to a wider audience and recognize the economics of game development, which are not always straightforward. The cost of making games goes up with each cycle as the caliber of the IP has improved. PlayStation recently acquired Nixxes Software, which is best known for its work on the PC versions of Square Enix properties including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Hitman, and Thief, to help it bring the games to the platform. Now, I know that was a whole nutshell of a bunch of stuff. But the question that I think then becomes after you hear this is like, okay, PlayStation is taking PC more serious. You guys know me, right? I'm that PlayStation guy. I get really excited for PlayStation games. I'm a fan. Now, do I get upset when I hear that PlayStation wants to, take PC more serious by bringing in some of their games over to the PC platform? Hell no. I think everybody needs to be playing these games. I think they're phenomenal. And there's people who maybe just don't have access to getting a PlayStation, right? And they do want to play some of these games, right? God of War, for example. I know tons of people want to play that game, but don't necessarily want to get the actual PlayStation. There you go. I feel like them bringing it over makes sense. And just makes sense from the standpoint of like, hey, this is going to make some money. Straight off the back, that's just what it's going to do. And so I think that's good because one, you're bringing the games over to an audience that just, you know, again, either for whatever reason just can't get a PlayStation 4 or wants to play it on PlayStation 4. They're willing to buy it and play it on PC, which I think is great. And that's great for that aspect. And it's just great for money. I'm sure, and I'm absolutely sure it's going to make good money, because if I'm not mistaken, the pre-orders already for God of War on PC were saying that they were like so freaking high up there that people were so excited for it. And so it, again, just makes sense kind of all around. The question though, and this I think is what's sending a lot of diehard fans over the board here, is do we expect to see day and date releases of PlayStation games on the PC? And I'm going to say, I don't think not anytime soon. I want to say not anytime soon. And by that, let me be more specific, in the next year or two. I don't think not yet, because I think they still want to sell consoles. And the thing is, everybody has to remember, they're not Microsoft, right? They're not Xbox. They don't got money like that. That's a company, right? It's a whole thing that's got tons of money that they can, you know, try to go for something like the whole subscription Game Pass type service, which we all know that, you know, that's selling at a loss, but hopefully in the future that does, you know, make it does come back around and it makes the money back. Whereas PlayStation, they are selling the consoles, and everybody buys like the PlayStation consoles for the most part, right? That's a big part of where their money comes from. And I would say, I don't think we'll see day and date, not yet at least. The question is, will we inevitably see in the future? We could, especially seeing how well these sales do. For example, if they start selling millions of units, this is just a hypothetical here, but if they just start selling millions of units and start making this crazy amount of money on PC and say, hey, we can make a ton of money by dropping these games both on PC and you know, on the actual PlayStation platform, there's potential to say, hey, let's start doing them day and dates. And who's to say they don't start experimenting with stuff like that? I mean, look at the upcoming Lost Legacy, the Uncharted Lost Legacy collection that's dropping. That's going to be on PC as well as PlayStation 5. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they start doing some stuff like that. But I would think for the time being, I think until they get some of those console sales up there more, I don't think we'll see that within the next year or two, in my opinion. But I guess you guys could let me know what you guys think about that, because that is a pretty big thing, and it is going to hurt a lot of the diehard console fans that are like, hey, don't do that. They make me feel like now it's like, oh, I don't feel special no more, because that is like a feeling that people do get, and it's totally, I don't think it's an issue, right? It's totally fine. But I would like to hear your guys' thoughts about it. I think it's cool, you know, just to see the PlayStation games, more PlayStation games going to PC. But I just don't think we would see day and day not yet. It doesn't make too much sense for it not yet. But then again, I always say this, but these are all businesses, right? So money talks more than anything. And so I guess you would really see, right, if the money is there and it makes more sense, we'll see. I mean, does that mean, you know, console players are going to switch to PC all of a sudden? No. A lot of people go to the consoles because it's just more cost effective, right? It just makes more sense. And so that is typically the reasoning for it. And PC gets into a whole thing of like, you know, do my drivers, you know, or not drivers, but like, you know, well, one, yeah, you have to have the drivers. Do my PC parts good? Or, you know, is my CPU good enough? Like, there's so many more, you know, technicalities it gets to PC. But I would just say, no, I wouldn't worry about that right now. But again, give your thoughts about that down below. Speaking of which, let's go into a more fun topic, and that is number 3. Warner Brothers is apparently working on a Smash clone. I'm getting this from Twitter, from Nibel, but I've also gotten this from another Twitter user, Hungrybox, and it's just been all over the place. Basically, here's what the tweets are reading. This is more from Nibble. He says, Warner Brothers is working on a platform fighter, Smash Bros. A Smash Bros. Like a Nickelodeon All-Star game that features fighters like Shaggy, Mad Max, Gandalf, and more. Jeff Grubb, another known insider, corroborates the leak but says the developer is not NetherRealm. The game is rumored to be a very cheap but free-to-play game where purchasable DLC characters, like apparently one of the first ones that are being rumored is LeBron James from Space Jam. And then again, according to Hungrybox's Twitter account, right, he says that drops more info of the game by saying that the game title is called Warner Brothers Multiverse or just Multiverse. It's one of the two. Then he's dropped a picture that has a character select screen, and also there's even some more additional pictures that I didn't see from his account, but I did see floating around of some actual maps as well. But it essentially kind of shows like the different fighters, which hopefully we can show it here, but it shows the different fighters that you can see in the game, which I will just say there's characters from Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Batman, Harley Quinn is in there, I think Superman was in there, Gandalf, Rick and Morty, Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more to come because there's so many WB characters that they can drop in this game. And for what I'm hearing, there's gonna be some crazy ones that could potentially come to this game. But if you look at the image, it does show like the character's icon along with the type of like fighter that they're gonna be. So it does have like that free-to-play kind of, I don't want to say it's gonna be a mobile game. I have no idea this will be a mobile game. If it becomes a mobile game, I don't know how I feel about that, but it is more accessible as a mobile game. And they do want to have DLC, purchasable DLC for more characters. So I mean, that's essentially the information. Now the question is, you know, would you guys get hyped for this game? Does it look cool to you? I will say I'm pretty excited for this. Seeing how the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl game did, I think this potentially can do just as good. It's so funny how all these like platform fighting games are just like coming up out of the woodworks. They're all, you know, the moment that Smash was like, hey, our final DLC character, boom, everybody's like, oh, here's our version of a Smash clone game that has these characters and these characters and these characters. And I think people are starting to see that winning formula of the fact that like, hey, you drop a platform fighter, but with some cool characters, you got yourself a game. And again, I'm looking back at that Nickelodeon game because people kind of slept on that game. I know I did, and I think a lot of us judged and was like, won't last not even a day. If I'm not mistaken, I think that game is still really popular. People are still playing that game, so it never really fell off. But people, of course, wanted to do better in terms of like, I think the biggest thing was like people wanted to start hearing some like actual voice lines or something like that, which at that point then I think it becomes more of an expensive game. But I expect this game to be a very similar game to that aspect. However, there's probably more characters that I'm excited to see from this game alone, I think, than the Nickelodeon one. A cool one that I have written down here would be to see like Neo from The Matrix. I'm a big Game of Thrones fans, and so people are already saying that there's rumored that Arya Stark would be coming in. Give me the entire Stark family, dog. I would be absolutely floored by this game if we start seeing all those characters. I mean, you let me know, what WB characters would you want to see in this game? I mean, we had Shaggy. Can we start seeing like the rest of the Scooby-Doo cast in here? I don't know. Give me your thoughts about it. The only thing that does get me scared though is I don't know how much they're gonna cost to buy the DLC characters, which does, see, that's the part it's like, oh, free to play with purchasable DLC characters. So I'm like, ugh, like how much are you charging? Because I don't know how I feel about spending that much money. I don't know. It's gonna all depend. So let me know your thoughts about that down below. Are you excited for this game? It does seem pretty hype. So I guess we'll have to see. Again, WB has a cool roster of characters, so there's tons of potential, you know, I feel like, for this game, but we'll have to see for sure when it drops. Jumping into the final piece of news, and that is Halo Infinite new campaign overview trailer dropped. And I'm getting some of this information from IGN and some of the stuff that I just wrote down when I actually watched the trailer myself. A new Halo Infinite campaign overview video dropped and featured some new Halo Infinite gameplay, like Chief using a new grapple to hook onto what I believe was a Banshee in midair. Also, you meet the Banished, who have managed to defeat the UNSC forces. Threatening the survival of humankind, the Banished has taken control of the Zeta Halo. However, Master Chief has returned to take on the Banished faction. Some questions you'll see, right? Or some stuff you might even want to see for yourself. You'll learn what happened to Cortana, as they talk about Cortana a lot. Chief teams up with a new AI called The Weapon, who I thought was pretty cool, and I'm excited to see The Weapon and how, you know, she works with Cortana and how that's going to go. Master Chief can upgrade his abilities and more with what appears to be a bit of a small skill tree. No idea how that's going to work out, but I already see some people not excited for the skill tree. Me personally, I'm curious to see how the skill tree works. They even showcase a thruster ability being used in the game as well. The entire game, 100% from what we saw before, looks extremely polished, looking literally just 10 times better. And not just that, they showed some new enemies like the skimmer, and it just showed a lot more, and I think it looks a lot better just overall. I'm actually really excited for this game to drop now. I'm more specifically excited for the multiplayer. I said before, the campaign, I think I dropped Halo campaign after like, I think Halo 3. I don't even know if I even got into Halo 4 campaign. So I'm not too sure. Maybe ODST, maybe even that one. I have no idea. I know campaign wise, I've really fallen off the Halo one. So I definitely go back and check them out because this looks really cool. And I would want to know the story before jumping into the campaign for this one. But of course, the online multiplayer is what everybody gets really excited for. And you guys can expect to see that on December 8th, which is gonna be really exciting. Again, dropping on PC, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and Game Pass. Definitely go check that out. You know, let me know your thoughts. Are you guys excited for Halo? I mean, it feels weird. I don't know. this game, for whatever reason, I keep forgetting is dropping. And I'm not sure if it's just, again, just me and not being the hypest for Halo like I used to be when I was younger. Because we didn't grow up Xbox days, right? Especially 360 days, playing tons of Halo with friends. So I don't know. I've just slowly have gone off the Halo bandwagon a little bit, but give me your thoughts about it. I think I'm still excited. Seeing the way they use the grapple, stuff like that will draw me back into a game. And so I'm more excited to get into this multiplayer. I haven't yet played any of the multiplayer weekends that they've been doing. But if you have been, let me know down below. What are your thoughts about it? Do you feel like it's going to be, you know, a new kind of Halo experience, you know, but in a good way or in a bad way? Because I think the last couple ones are people are just perceiving it as more as like a bad way of Halo. So give me your thoughts about it. I don't know. I'm still pretty excited for it, if I'm being honest. And then guys, that is it for the news. Again, some quick games to look out for next week. Just Dance 2022. I know you guys are excited for that one. That's PlayStation 5, Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia as well. We also have World War Z on Switch November 2nd. Just Dance was November 4th. And then we have Bloodshore. That is literally across the board with iOS and Android as well. And that is November 3rd. Guys, thank you for watching. Again, if you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you guys enjoyed the content. And if you like the video, go ahead and like that video. Again, I'm Letho1Up, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.